Alex Rodriguez?
No. Really? Something happened?
He took Pez.
Oh, okay. What's
Those little candies. It doesn't seem like that big a deal to me.
Oh, okay.
Seriously. He admitted he took performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. What do you make of it? Is it the way to go to admit it, to come out and say that?
He didn't admit it. When you're forced out, you don't get any credit for admission. He was forced out. He lied multiple times about taking it. I'm tired of it. I'm disappointed in him. Alex is very concerned about his image. He's always concerned, overly concerned, probably for a guy of his accomplishment level. I know Alex Rodriguez a little bit. I talked to him in the off season. I don't cover baseball anymore. But I'm disappointed, and it just seems to me a guy as smart as Alex Rodriguez could come out years ago and say, okay, look, I experimented with this stuff in this time period. Here's why I did it. It was wrong. I've decided that ain't the way to go. Baseball's decided for me. And I'm not going to do that, but here's why I did this, and here's why we as a union shouldn't have this. And you could have turned this around a long time ago, but then when you just sort of wait and you're outed, and you come out with this lame thing, and I didn't know what I was taking. No, that's not the way to go.
He knew what he was taking.
He knew the names of it, but he says he didn't know what effect it had.
It was the pressure of trying to live up to his big
I believe that
contract
because
in
he's
Texas.
a guy who likes to live up to things. And
Yes,
I believe
he
he took it to
and
live.
has
It's not a
accepted that,
justification.
right.
It's justification, as Tony says, justification, and you can't explain it away that way. I believe that Alex Rodriguez took these things to justify the $250 million to get the biggest numbers he could possibly get. But still, it's a disappointment that this guy would do that because who's left?
Well,
Alex Rodriguez was the guy that we thought didn't take it.
That's what we were talking about last week.
He was going to be the clean guy
exactly.
to turn you around from McGuire, Sosa, Bonds.
And
now he's just like everybody else.
Well, for 3 years he was.
His lies really anger me.
Do they?
They really anger me. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because he knew. He took these things in 2001, 2002, and 2003, at least. By the way, at least.
At least.
Because we don't, at least.
Right.
Okay. He knew he took performance-enhancing drugs. He knows at the time. He was interviewed by Katie Couric in 2007.
Only a year and a half ago.
In 2007.
A year and a half ago.
She looks at him, did you ever? No, I never.
Did you consider
Were
it?
you ever tempted? No. Because I'm so good.
Right. I don't need that.
That I don't need
I've
this.
never felt
and now he
overwhelmed,
knows,
outmatched
he
by
knows
baseball.
he's lying.
Yeah.
Because unless he's a sociopath, he knows he's lying. Then he's asked today by Gammons the right question, why'd you lie to her? And he says, how could I tell her the truth when I was lying to myself? You weren't lying to yourself. You shot this stuff up into your body for 3 years and you knew you did. And the only reason you're talking about this now is, as Mike says, because you were outed. You were outed by Sports Illustrated. This is the only this stuff about I was naive, you weren't naive. It was loosey-goosey then. It wasn't loosey-goosey then. That was 2003. It wasn't loosey-goosey then. Loosey-goosey in 1996, 7, and 8. Not by 2003. No. Once Mark McGuire admitted to Andro in 98. In 98. Everybody started looking at steroids. Everybody. So everything Alex Rodriguez said today is colored to make himself look good, as he always does, because he's one of the most disingenuous human beings who ever lived. Now, that's Alex Rodriguez's personality. He's a great baseball player.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the great baseball players, like him and Bonds, like Clemens, the all-time greats, when given this advantage, are phenomenal beyond words. So ultimately, what you ask yourself is, and we talked about this on the show today, Hall of Fame. This guy would have made the Hall of Fame if he never took a drop anything. Roger Clemens would have made the Hall of Fame. What are you talking about here? Barry Bonds was a great player when he was skinny.
Yeah.
He was a great player. The reason these guys, I can't speak to Clemens. I mean, I really can't, because I think that the numbers in pitching, it's not like he would have ever gotten Cy Young's numbers. It's not like he would have ever gotten Nolan Ryan's strikeout. I mean, those were impossible to break. But Alex Rodriguez and Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire could see they could get him, because the number one number.
Don't forget Sosa.
Right, and Sosa too.
Yeah.
The number one number in the only sport that matters with numbers is the home run number, because it's attainable. Strikeout number's not 511. Nobody's going to win 500. Those things are not attainable. So what you hear with Clemens is one of the best pitchers ever and the best pitcher in the last 80 years. But you can't. The numbers won't support saying the best pitcher ever, even if you try to make that
case. You can't
case.
even catch Walter Johnson.
But the home run guys,
Yeah.
that's gettable. And the reason they knew it was gettable is because it went to 60 in 1927. And 61 in 1961. It went one in 71 years. It went up one
with an increase in games.
Yeah, so of course, of course it was gettable, and that's why they did it. That's why Alex Rodriguez is doing all these things to make himself, because he's an egotist. That's not bad. It's not bad. I'm an egotist. You're an egotist. Right. Alex Rodriguez said, if you're going to give me a chance to be the greatest player of all time, I'm taking the chance.
Yeah, but he's insecure too. There's an insecurity there, which is why I actually believe the truest thing he said was he wanted to live up to something. Alex Rodriguez is always trying to live up to somebody else's idea of what Alex Rodriguez should be, which is his problem. And so, yeah, I think he does this. Look, Alex Rodriguez is a fascinating study. If somebody, he's a fascinating character. And Tony talks about me defending him because I like him a lot. And I think that people have been unfair to him. Forget the steroids, just this. The New York Post today. How about New York? How about the city where you worked and you grew up? How about the city of New York having a paper that says "a-hole" on the headline on the back page?
I wouldn't have gone in that
yes. So this newspaper, which is going to rip people as columnists, are going to rip people for failing to live up to the standard of role model. They got kids everywhere on the subway going to school, walking down the street past the newsstand, seeing "a-hole" on the back.
Why would a guy as sensitive as Alex Rodriguez, now you got to answer this one now out loud.
Okay.
Why would a guy as sensitive as Alex Rodriguez, as concerned with his image as Alex Rodriguez, why would he re-up with the Yankees? I understand the first time.
I don't get it.
Why would he re-up with the Yankees?
Here's why. Because he still has the juxtaposition of insecurity and ego. He still has enough of an ego to he feels if I got to make it here, I got to make it in New York.
Then he's been listening to too many Sinatra songs.
Probably.
Because it's terrible for him. Because the guy playing to his left
is greater than him.
Never. It doesn't matter how many championships he wins.
Doesn't matter.
He's never going to have the first four that Jeter had.
Here's the other thing. Where did I tell you he could go and be loved?
Chicago. Could have been loved in Los Angeles,
and you know what?
too.
He knew that. But, Alex has talked to people about this whole thing, about where he could go, where he could have less pressure, where he could be an icon. But that wasn't good enough. It wasn't. He's got to do it in New York. He's got to do it there. And so,
I don't know why. He can't even get hits in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, or the 9th inning. What is he doing? He didn't take.
In October.
He didn't take steroids to hit in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. There's no steroid for that.
You hope you can. You think you can. But there's, let me ask you something. How's he going to perform in New York City now?
Well, here's my feeling about that. Clemens is done because he's never admitted. Okay, he's denied. But if you look at Giambi, the people responded well to Giambi, and he never even used the word steroids. Right. If you look at Pettit, who I think is an arch villain in this, that has skated beyond words, Pettit said, when confronted, when being brought to court with Roger Clemens, said, yes, I used steroids, I'm terribly sorry, and lied about the amount of times he used them.
Yes,
underplayed.
Right.
I mean, it was just, and yet nobody ever said anything bad about him. Now, he's not the star that A-Rod is, but he's been a great pitcher for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I think.
But he had money in the bank. He won.
Yeah, I think what this says is that, and I think what Alex Rodriguez has to hope for, because he's going to be there a long time, and he is a great player, is that they'll respond to the fact that he finally admitted for whatever reason.
Right.
And if he can have a great year, maybe they'll love him. I don't know. But the larger issue
if he goes 1 for 9 to start the season, God help him.
No, but you know what?
But there's the larger issue is now, because it's Alex Rodriguez, I can think of only two guys. Alex Rodriguez, well, Derek Jeter, I guess, but Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr., who we believed really didn't take.
I will tell you, I'll be surprised.
I think they all took.
I'll be surprised if Ken Griffey Jr. is on this. I'd be surprised.
Well, you'd be surprised if Jeter's on the list. Less so, right? Less
so, but still surprised.
Be surprised if Randy Johnson was on the list.
No.
Be surprised if Manny Ramirez is on the list.
I'd be surprised.
Be surprised if Albert Pujols is on the list.
No.
I've never seen Pujols in person. I've seen Manny in person. Manny You know what Manny is? Manny's the guy you grew up with who didn't look like an athlete and was a great athlete beyond belief when you were 12 and 13 and 14 and made the majors or made the minors or whatever the kid from your neighborhood made. That seems to be what Manny is. Manny actually is the natural. A-Rod isn't. But it would surprise me if Ken Griffey Jr. You know what Ken Griffey Jr. could have done? If Ken Griffey Jr. had done what Mark McGwire did, which was take whatever it is to stay healthy, to make your body
because he kept falling apart.
Vault. Because he kept falling apart. He would have hit 850 home runs because he is the natural. But he apparently didn't do that.
I don't know.
He's breaking down even now.
He's been breaking down for years.
I don't think Griffey did.
I think this is, I know we said this last week. I think Bud Selig needs to stand up.
Well, he's not.
Bud Selig needs to stand up and say, I am not just the commissioner because I used to own the Brewers and because I side for the owners. I am the commissioner because this is my issue, and we are rolling these records back, boys and girls.
He won't do
we're rolling back to Aaron, and we're rolling back to Maris.
Aaron's his friend. If anybody felt, what you're describing is exactly what Bud Selig feels. Bud Selig.
Why not do it?
I don't want to. I have to be careful here.
Why not do it?
We know that Bud Selig hates these fraudulent numbers.
Well, then do it.
We know
then do
that Bud. We know that.
Do it.
All right.
Act the part. Act.
Why
the
did
part.
Bud Selig not follow Barry Bonds?
Do you
know
think?
why?
Do you think? Let's look at commissioners, not just baseball commissioners.
Right.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis is before our time, but would have done it. Pete Rozelle would do something like this. Pete Rozelle would galvanize the power, and he would do something like this.
David Stern certainly would.
I think David Stern.
I think he would.
I think he would.
I do too.
I think he would. And I think what Selig, it's a great opportunity for Selig. So he's not considered the buffoon from the All-Star game.
Besides Reinsdorf, who's in his ear saying, "Don't, Bud, you can't, don't even."
I don't know. You say he watches this show, so we're in his ear.
No, we're on his screen.
We're in his ear.
We might be in his bedroom.
I don't know. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to roll them back. You got to keep these other numbers alive in a separate place.
Then you have to declare
1998 for the good of baseball.
When was the home run summer?
98.
You got to declare
null and void.
98 through 2008.
Null and void.
No records will be observed from that 10-year period.
Steroid era. You got it. Through 2007.
Because
they really began testing pretty well.
9 years, 10 seasons.
That's it. That's enough.
You sure got to throw out the three years for A-Rod, right?
Well, that's all. That's involved in there.
It's in play. It's in play. It's in play. I don't know what else you do. What else do you do? It's the only sport. Look, you love basketball.
Yeah.
You might be able to tell me.
I can't tell you any numbers.
Well, you might be able to tell me who has the all-time scoring number, but you won't know the number.
No.
You won't know the number.
No, it's
you
Wilt.
love football.
I think it's 50.2,
you're not going to know.
Sure.
You're not going to. You can tell
me
Brett
numbers.
Favre has the numbers. You don't know what the numbers are. But everybody knows 400. Everybody knows 714. Everybody knew 60 and 61. Everybody knows these numbers.
Even 755 became a number you knew. Now you don't know anything.
Everybody knows these numbers.
60. Yeah. Magic number.
Everybody
Sosa did it 3 times, and now it doesn't look like any. I'm going to say this. I said this to him, and now I don't care anymore. I saw Sammy Sosa. I saw Sammy when he played in Baltimore that one year, and by then it was over for Sammy, even though he might have hit 35 home runs one year. I saw Sammy Sosa in the locker room. Somebody came up, gave me a quick hug, a little pound, and this person head was here, so I didn't see this person. Quick hug. Don't really know who it is because he's a small guy. I mean, he's like weight is 190 pounds. And I stepped back. Whoa! It's Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa, who has shrunken. Honey, I shrunk the kids. Sammy Sosa, who went from being. Seriously, it scared me.
Did you see McGwire?
No, but McGwire. Okay, but I don't.
But my guy's tall.
Mark McGwire was always a big guy. He was always a big guy. Sammy Sosa looks like he could ride in the 3rd race at Aqueduct. and you just you can't believe it.
You can't.
It was so. I called him on the way home, and I said, I just saw Sammy Sosa. He looks like he is going to model underwear for Jockey. He was so small after whatever.
It could be Bud Selig's legacy.
Yeah.
To protect the shield. He could.